Night falls over Grand Forks, Arkansas, and the rain drums against the windows like an ominous whisper. In the Shin house, the kitchen light still shines, but the figure of Drew, 22, is gone. His absence is a void that the family feels like a blow to the chest. It all started with a phone call. "She didn't come home from work," says her mother, Linda, her voice breaking. The police begin a search, but the heavy rain erases clues. Meanwhile, Richard, Drew's husband, remains unusually silent, his eyes avoiding questions. In the neighborhood, neighbors whisper. A 6-year-old girl, Jersey Bridgeman, also disappeared days earlier. Her abandoned bicycle on the sidewalk, a torn princess balloon next to it, echoes of lost innocence. The police, under pressure, investigate a contractor hired by the Shin family, a man accused of tainting his work, which fueled suspicions. Richard and his wife Connie have sued, but the tension doesn't end there. A wrecked car, a gun bought for safety, and a couple increasingly isolated. The rain doesn't stop. On the streets, police car lights cut through the darkness. A detective mutters, "There's no forced entry, but the basement window was open. Someone knew the house." Meanwhile, Richard, injured and unstable, contradicts his own stories. "I don't know what happened," he repeats, but his eyes betray fear. The investigation delves into secrets, an unplanned pregnancy, lies about fertility, and a relationship corroded by secrets. As Drew Shin's investigation progresses, another mystery emerges in Grand Forks: the disappearance of Jersey Bridgeman, a 6-year-old girl whose family lived next door to the Hollies, a couple who quickly became suspects. Zachary Holly, her husband, had a past full of abuse, child neglect, drugs, and aggressive behavior. The police discover that Jersey had been tied to a dresser by her parents, who accused her of physical and emotional abuse. However, her body is found in an abandoned house, with injuries that suggest something other than neglect. Meanwhile, the story of Richard and Connie Shin reveals layers of betrayal. Richard, who was married to Connie, was having a secret affair with Sarah, a woman he planned to get pregnant with. A secret Connie supposedly knew about, but which eroded their marriage. It was her idea, Richard claims in interviews, but Connie's friends deny it. The investigation reveals that Richard consulted a divorce attorney months before Drew, his wife, disappeared. Tensions flare when the police find incriminating evidence. Richard's car was near the spot where one of Drew's shoes was found. He claims to have gone to the mall, but records show he lied about the movie he watched. Meanwhile, Zachary Holly, after a polygraph test, admits involvement in Jersey's disappearance, but denies killing her. His defense argues that he was manipulated by another man, David Spears, who supposedly confessed to the crime. The rain persists, and the community is divided between fear and suspicion. A detective mutters, "Both cases have a pattern: hidden bodies, interwoven lies, and a suspect with access to weapons and motivation." Richard, however, maintains a disturbing calm, posting on Facebook as if nothing had happened. His wife, Connie, killed in violent circumstances days later, leaves clues that link the couple's desperation to Drew's disappearance. The rain is now a constant curtain, as if the sky were crying along with the community. Jersey Bridgeman's investigation reveals details that freeze the soul. The girl's body showed multiple fractures, marks of restraints and traumas that went beyond what the police imagined. Zachary Holly, her stepfather, admits during a polygraph interrogation that he physically assaulted the child, but denies having killed her. "She tripped on the stairs," he mumbles, but the detectives don't believe him. Meanwhile, Richard Shin, now under intense suspicion, reveals a shocking truth. Months before Drew's disappearance, he had consulted a lawyer for a divorce. His relationship with Sarah, the woman with whom he had planned to have a child, was a secret that corroded his marriage. Connie knew, he insists, but his wife's friends deny it. The police discover that Richard withdrew $93,000 from a joint account days after Connie's murder, using her life insurance to finance a new life. The connection between the cases emerges in a macabre detail: the method of tying up victims. Drew Shin was tied with a rope identical to the one used to arrest Jersey Bridgeman. Richard, during an interview, reveals that Zachary Holly worked on renovations in his house, a detail that detectives linked to the possible collaboration between the two. He was a man of few words, but he seemed to understand when I needed help, Richard says with a blank expression. Jersey's family, desperate, offers rewards for information. Amanda Holly, the mother, who was once seen as a good neighbor, is now accused of neglect. She never took Jersey to the doctor, witnesses claim. Meanwhile, Sarah, Richard's lover, reveals that he planned to disappear with Connie to be with her. He said she was possessive, but I didn't believe him, she whispers, looking at the floor. Police find Connie Shin's diary in D, which she wrote, "I can't pretend that everything is okay anymore. Richard is distant, but I still love him. What will I do if he leaves me?" The sentence is an echo of fear that now seems prophetic. The investigation intensifies when police discover that Richard Shin had lied about his whereabouts on the night of Drew's disappearance. He claimed to have gone to the movies, but records show that the film was not playing at that time. Meanwhile, Zachary Holly, after a failed polygraph test, admits to assaulting Jersey Bridgeman, but insists that he did not kill her. She fell. "It was an accident," he whispers, but his eyes betray the truth. The key to the case lies in a macabre detail. The ropes used to tie Drew Shin and Jersey Bridgeman are identical to those purchased by Richard at a local store. Detectives discover that he had purchased 2 of the ropes weeks earlier, a fact he had failed to disclose. "She was going to leave me for Sarah," Richard confesses in fragmented interviews, revealing that he planned Connie's murder to get rid of her and run away with his lover. At the same time, the police find Drew Shin's body in a ravine about 10 kilometers from her home. She was tied up, naked from the waist down, with a rope around her neck. The autopsy report reveals that she was strangled and suffocated with a plastic. Real methods that link the crime to the same killer who attacked Jersey. Richard, under interrogation, finally admits, "I saw her. She was alive, but I needed her to disappear." Zachary Holly, under pressure, reveals that David Spears, an acquaintance of the family, confessed to killing Jersey. "He forced me. He said he would do something worse to me if I didn't cooperate," he cries, but the detectives doubt it. The connection between Richard and Spears emerges when it is discovered that they both worked together on renovations at the Shin house. Meanwhile, the Grand Forks community is crumbling under the weight of the truth. Once supportive neighbors level accusations. Jersey's mother, Amanda Holly, is seen crying at the funeral home, while Richard posts fake photos on social media, feigning normalcy. "He has no heart," a witness mutters. The rain continues unabated. On the streets, police lights cut through the darkness. A detective whispers, "Both cases end with a man who could not love, only destroy." The rain finally stops, but the silence that follows is more disturbing. Drew Shin's body is found in a ravine, her face covered with a plastic bag, her hands tied with the same rope used to imprison Jersey Bridgeman. The autopsy reveals that she was strangled and suffocated, methods that link Richard Shin and Zachary Holly to crimes of unimaginable brutality. "He chose victims no one would love," a detective mutters, looking at photos of the girls. Richard, now in custody, finally reveals the truth. He and Zachary planned the crimes together. "He needed help to finish things," Richard whispers, avoiding looking at the camera. Zachary, in turn, admits to killing Jersey under threat from Richard, but denies having participated in Connie's murder. "He forced me. He said he would kill my family if I didn't help him," he cries, as lawyers prepare a plea bargain. Richard's trial is a horror show. Security camera footage shows him following Drew around the mall, and phone records reveal lies about his whereabouts. He is sentenced to life in prison for double murder. Zachary, meanwhile, is tried for child abuse and participation in the crime, but his defense argues that he was a man manipulated by a liar. The Grand Forks community tries to heal, but scars remain. Jersey's family erects a flower statue in their front yard, while Drew's mother writes letters to Richard begging for answers. "How could you do this?" she asks in emotional interviews. At the end, the rain returns, a constant reminder of buried secrets. Richard, in a final interview, says, "I'm not a monster. I was a man who made mistakes." But for Drew and Jersey's parents, he is just the face of a nightmare that never ends.